If the world hates you, just remember that it has hated me first. If you belong to the world, then the world would love you as its own. But I chose you from this world, and you do not belong to it. That is why the world hates you. Whoever hates me, hates my father also. They would not have been guilty of sin if I had not done among them the things that no one else has done. As it is, they have seen what I did, and they hate both me and my father. They hated me for no reason at all.
Hello and welcome everybody. One Piece 1165 short summary spoilers. God bless everybody here. Welcome in everyone. I hope everyone's having a beautiful morning, day, or night wherever you guys are. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope God has been protecting you, nurturing you, visiting you, loving you, protecting you, guiding you. We are here today to discuss Tuesday, November 4th, here to discuss One Piece 1165 short summary spoilers. I'm very excited to read this. I haven't really looked at the hints because the hints are generally pointless. They're pretty much like a waste of time. But of course, we did read last week's spoilers, last week's chapter. So I'm very curious to see what Oda's doing next. We recently saw characters like Emu getting characters like Zebek getting possessed by Emu taking the floor, essentially getting into the battlefield. Lots of interesting stuff happening in One Piece lately. It's been great. We got a Bigna, God bless. Young Smokey, God bless, bro. Nomad, God bless. JR Writer, God bless. If you guys are here, make yourself known. If you are here in the chat, here in the stream, make yourself known. I'm not sure how long the stream's going to be because I don't have that much energy, but we are here, chat. We're here. We're here. I'm excited. I don't know. Is this chapter going to be mainly like combat? Is this chapter going to be mainly fighting? Because, you know, like the combat chapters are going to be the ones where like there's not much to discuss. It's just all about looking at the fighting, you know? The chapters that end up being the best for discussions and theories are going to be the ones that are centered around information and plot developments and stuff like that. So I don't know, chat. Should we be expecting a lot of information and dialogue, or is this just going to be fighting? Who knows? Maybe some of you guys in the chat have already read the spoilers. Who here has read the spoilers? Has anyone read them yet? I have not read them yet. I don't even know if I should be hyped for these spoilers. Expect Oda to wrap up quickly. Are you telling me to expect Oda to wrap up quickly? Or are you saying that you're expecting Oda to wrap up quickly? And what do you mean wrap up quickly? Like wrap up this like Loki flashback? Even though it's not really like a Loki flashback anymore because Loki's not on God Valley, but wrap up like this thing going on? Or are you saying that like are you telling me without a doubt this is going to wrap up quickly, or do you think it's going to wrap up quickly? Like that's what you want. What do you mean exactly? All right. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. Chat. Who's ready? Who's ready? Nomad, God bless, bro. He said, I had a theory Brox is going to push through the Domi Reversi and ask Roger to kill him. And my theory came true. Now I'm waiting on Gary. I know you meant Garp, but that's funny to read. Now I'm waiting on Gary to get beat up and take the claim to fame like Smoker and Alabasta. Yeah. I was imagining kind of something similar to where like Garp is falsely proclaimed as the hero to mirror Alabasta's situation with Smoker. I know exactly what you're referring to, but looking back, like in retrospect, like I don't know if I would be led to believe that Roger's gonna put more Garp in or more work in than Garp. Like Oda has not been, too kind to Roger lately. Roger's looked kind of like a disappointment, kind of like a bum. Hikikomori, God bless, bro. Eric, God bless, man. Yeah, I don't expect Garp to look bad here. His Gatling probably inspired Luffy. Oh, I didn't realize he had a Gatling. All right, chat, let's start with the spoilers. Let's start. Chapter 1165, Reverberation. Okay, so reverberation, that comes from the word reverberate, right? Which means to shake, vibrate. Reverberate, a loud noise be repeated several times as an echo. So resound, echo, re-echo. Okay, so it's like the auditory version of a vibration, right? A vibration would be like a physical form of reverberation. So this is like an echo. I wonder what the echo is referring to. Cover reader request, Law and Beppo using Zeus as a sleeping pillow. Okay, I don't really care for that. We need to get a new cover page, a new cover story. I think Oda should give Katakuri a cover story. We've said this many times on the channel. We don't see Katakuri protecting Whole Cake Island when the Blackbeard Pirates show up. We don't see him going for Big Mom, and we don't see him going for Pudding. So what exactly is Katakuri doing? I want a Katakuri backstory or a Katakuri cover story. Maybe Oda could give a Katakuri cover story where he's going to collect or find Big Mom, and then the cover story kind of ends with him collecting Big Mom. I think like that would be good. Or maybe like Oda could do like a cover story where Kaido and Big Mom are like collected. Like a cover story of like two different factions in one cover story. I think that'd be cool. L, God bless, bro. Cat eating donuts. Well, he's looking like a severe disappointment right now because again, this donut obsessed guy is not defending his homeland of Whole Cake. The Blackbeard Pirates went to Whole Cake and ransacked the place, got at least rubbings of the poneglyph, and Katakuri's nowhere to be found. Pudding gets kidnapped, and we don't see anything about Katakuri looking to save her. Big Mom is obliterated, and we don't see anything regarding Katakuri looking to save her. So I don't know, man. Katakuri doesn't really look like that much of a leader right now. Unless, again, something's happening off screen. But that's a pure guess. World Nen, welcome in, bro. God bless. All right, chat. Let's start with the spoilers. You guys ready? Point number 1. Shiki declares that this is the end of the Rocks Pirates. We see the remaining members of the Rocks Pirates with Ganzui still alive, going their separate ways. Wow. So the crew, the Rocks crew, is splitting up before Zebek truly even falls. Like, one could make the argument, oh, well, Zebek is being possessed. He's been Domi reversied by Emu. But, like, technically speaking, Zebek hasn't even fallen yet. I mean, like, I guess they're justified. You know, Zebek is fighting them. Like, in the last chapter, 1164, we see Roxy Zebek throwing shots at Kaido and Big Mom. So I guess in a sense they're justified. They're like, you know what? We're done with this crew. And plus Ganzui, Shiki, those guys don't really care about the crew. They're just kind of after treasure. But it is interesting. I mean, you do have to acknowledge, guys, that the leader, Zebek, hasn't even fallen yet. Next point. Roger and Garp tell everyone, or tell their crew and soldiers, that they will come back. Then they join forces to face Zebek in an epic battle that spans several pages. See, that's going to be pretty sick. But I mean, like, see, the issue when we have like these combat pages, these combat chapters, is like, what do we talk about then? Like, at least in terms of the spoilers, at the least, right? Minimum. It's like, I don't really know what to add here, you know? Roger and Garp are saying peace out to their crews, and then they start fighting Trebek for several pages. There's nothing to really add here. I don't really know how to ignite a discussion off of this. You can't really craft any theories out of this. So next point. Kaido and Linlin are talking. She tells him that he has a lifetime debt to her. They then part ways. Okay, so I mean, not too much to add here. We all kind of foresaw this coming. Tiante Black, God bless, bro. How you doing? We all foresaw this coming. I mean, we knew for a very long time that Big Mom has had like this like debt over Kaido, that Kaido owes her a lifelong debt, right? Of the devil fruit. So, I mean, this just kind of brings things full circle, I guess. I mean, not too much to add here. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, I guess it's good that Oda kind of had this shown explicitly, you know, because maybe if Big Mom didn't tell Kaido in this chapter that Kaido has a lifelong debt to her, maybe there would be readers that say like, oh, well, what if the lifelong debt that Kaido had from Big Mom is something else? What if it's not his Elbaf fruit? Like, I guess I could see like some people making that argument. I probably wouldn't even agree with that argument. But I guess like it's good to have this shown verbatim from the words of Big Mom. I mean, I don't know what else to add here, chat. Not much to say. Okay. Whitebeard meets a man named Polo Graham, who seems to be Marco's father. He's a fan of Whitebeard and asks to join forces with him. Okay, when they say he's a fan of Whitebeard and asks to join forces with him, is that Marco's dad saying to tag team? Like, Marco's dad is telling Whitebeard, hey, Whitebeard, you need to team up with me? Or is it the other way around? Whitebeard telling Marco's dad to team up with him? I feel like it's the former. I don't think it's the latter. But it's kind of funny because, like, why would Whitebeard want to team up with Polo Graham, this completely random guy? And who knows, is Polo Graham going to be the man marked by flame? The burn scar man? Is this also how Marco joins the crew? Marco's asking Whitebeard to team up with, Marco's dad. Yeah, maybe this is how Marco actually joins the crew. I mean, not much else to say on that point either. I don't really know what to add. Emu gives the order to destroy and erase everything on God Valley. I mean, this is like Emu's forte. This is Emu's character. This is who Emu is, constantly trying to get people erased, constantly trying to erase civilizations. I mean, this is nothing new. I mean, I guess this is Oda confirming that we're going into the direction of Emu destroying God Valley, but I would like to believe that for good reason. You know, we all pretty much had like an agreement that Emu destroys God Valley, or at least the majority of it, or even a piece of it. So, I mean, I don't really know what to add to this point either. I mean, I feel like this chapter is going to end up being one of those chapters where like the short summaries is like, what do we say? This is kind of like a lot of things being confirmed that we already kind of believed and assumed as much. Then there's combat. So I don't know, chat. I hope the rest of the short summary gets a little bit better. Red SP3 for Christmas. What's that? What's the SP3? Emu destroying God Valley was universally accepted. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I guess like it's good that this is like it's verbatim, right? This chapter shows verbatim that Emu desires to destroy God Valley. But like, I don't really know what to say about that. I mean, again, as you put it, we universally accepted that. So, I mean, I don't really know what to say. Next point, Zebek's Conquerors Hockey is incredibly strong, so Garp and Roger decide to unleash all their hockey in one combined attack against him. I think this is just going to propel theories about Kobe and Luffy tag teaming against Blackbeard. I feel like this whole kind of narrative where Roger and Garp team up is going to lead people into those conclusions. But Chad, I don't know if you guys are on the same page that I am. I just don't see Kobe as a kind of character, as that kind of force that would match up against Blackbeard, even in the context where he has the cooperation of Luffy. And I'm actually a huge Kobe fan. I think Kobe has one of the greatest glow-ups like ever. I think Kobe has a good heart. I think he's one of the only good Marines. His new design's cool. Like, I'm a Kobe fan. I like Kobe. He's a great character. He's a great guy. But like, I just don't really see him working together with someone like Luffy to take down Blackbeard solely because of Kobe's power level. Like, that's worse than Law and Luffy going against Doflamingo. I believe the gap between Blackbeard and Kobe is a way bigger gap than Doflamingo and Law. And when you compare the possibility of Luffy and Blackbeard or Luffy and Kobe working together to Doflamingo and Law working together, or Luffy and Law working together, it's even worse at the fact that Law nearly died. Right? And I suppose one could argue, oh, well, Law was struggling, he almost died, and then Luffy showed up. But the points, the crux of it still remains the same. That even though most fans would say like there was a gap between Law and Doflamingo, like the gap between Kobe and Blackbeard is even greater. Like, I don't think anyone here would argue that like Kobe is Admiral level or Kobe is Yonko level. So even if Kobe's working with Luffy, because Kobe is so far below Blackbeard, that would actually make Kobe a liability in that battle. Do you guys agree with that? You guys agree with that? Unless Kobe gets an insane fruit, he ain't helping nobody. I think you mean he isn't helping anybody. Because when you say he ain't helping nobody, you're saying he's not helping no one, which would mean he is helping someone. I think you meant to say he's not helping anybody, but enough of the grammar Nazi. Even like I have a video. I put this video out years ago. There's a possibility that Kobe gets Sengoku's Devil Fruit. But even if that did happen, I think there's not enough time for Kobe to truly master it to make it much of a difference versus him fighting Blackbeard with Luffy without the fruit. Kobe's pre-time skip Lucci level. Whoa. Chad, do we subscribe to that? Kobe is pre-time skip Lucci? I don't know, bro. I feel like current Kobe would be above Lucci, but I'm not saying Yonko or Admiral level. Not as if pre-time skip Lucci was close to Admiral or Yonko level anyways. Do we think this is the last chapter before we return to Elbaf, or is there one more? I have no idea, bro. I have no clue. I mean, I don't know. Because we're off track from Loki. This was supposed to be like Loki right now, right? This is supposed to be Loki's explanation to Harold as to why Harold died and all that kind of stuff. That's what this flashback is supposed to be about. But currently, we're looking at God Valley and the events of God Valley, which Loki isn't even a part of. It doesn't pertain to Loki. Now, the interesting thing is God Valley, right, as an incident, not as an island. God Valley as an incident took place 39 years ago, whereas Harold's death took place around 2 decades ago. So if this flashback, if this narrative that we're reading was ignited and promulgated by Loki and Harold discussing the death of Harold, then I guess it would make sense that the flashback would continue after this fight. You see, like, now that I reflect back on your question, Justin, this is proving this gut feeling that I have. The gut feeling that I have is that people are forgetting that this is a Loki flashback meant to detail and discuss how and why Harold died. We are so preoccupied and we are so entertained by the God Valley flashback that we forgot what the original purpose of this flashback was. The original purpose of this flashback is a conversation between Loki and Harold about the death of Harold, or Loki and Hiruden about the death of Harold. But we're so preoccupied with the God Valley incident that we forgot that was the point of this flashback. So to answer your question, I think, yeah, now that I reflect on this, it was a good question, by the way, Justin. Now that I reflect back onto this, it makes sense that after this battle, the flashback continues. God Valley as a battle has very little to do with Harold dying. And you could argue, well, because Zebek going down and God Valley being destroyed, that gave way to Emu taking down Harold or something like that. Sure, someone can posit that hypothesis. But when we're talking about, like, okay, Domi got, or Zebek got Domi reversied, and they're having a whole conversation, it's like that doesn't specifically pertain to, like, okay, but how does that lead to Harold dying? How does that lead to all the knights in the Orust castle stabbing Harold? Do you see the point I'm trying to make? So what is the end goal here? The end goal is that Loki continues talking past God Valley, which, by the way, I'm not even sure that with this flashback of God Valley incident, that this is even Loki relaying information. This God Valley flashback might be giving context to the reader. And when this battle ends, Loki's continuing and he explains to Harold, or I keep saying Harold, he explains to Hiruden what truly happened to Harold. I think that makes more sense. So we have to speak more precise, I guess, because if Loki, like, let's say this battle right now, right, it ends. Oda concludes the God Valley incident. And the timeline of events is continuing, right? Because God Valley was 39 years ago. The timeline continues. And we reach to we're going forwards in time, like closer to the present day. We're going forwards. And we reach the part of Harold dying, getting stabbed by the knights. Would we really argue that, oh, the flashback ended? I thought this was all one flashback to begin with. So I guess people would have to be precise to ask a question like, do you think that the God Valley incident will end this chapter? Do you think the God Valley incident will end next chapter? Because it seems to me that this God Valley incident, sure, it's maybe the primary cause of it is to relay information to the reader. But it seems to me that the purpose of this God Valley flashback, or at least the position of this God Valley flashback, lies within the flashback, the discussion, the narrative of Loki and Hiruden. I hope I'm able to offer something with all of that. A piece of Hiruden, or a piece of Bro, see, I keep saying Hiruden when I mean to say Herald. Then when I mean to say Herald, I say Hiruden. When I mean to say Hiruden, I say Herald. When I mean to say Herald, I say Hiruden. A piece of Herald died when he didn't help Zebek. Well, at least in our opinion. Yeah, I mean, I think a piece of Zebek died when he heard that Emu and Saturn and the Celestials were going to go wreck Elbaf and usurp Elbaf. I think a piece of Zebek died. I think Zebek cared about Herald more than Herald cared about Zebek. Is that a hot take? Let me know, guys. Is that a hot take? I think Zebek cared more about Herald than Herald cared about Zebek. All right, let's continue. Zebek's conquers hockey. Okay, we already read that. The chapter ends with Garp and Roger launching their attacks on Zebek in an epic panel. Garp's move resembles Luffy's elephant Gatling, while Roger channels his hockey through his sword. They ultimately defeat Zebek as the dark evil energy seeps out his body. So it seems the fight's over. Someone in chat, weren't they saying that like the fight was going to continue or something, and like Roger was going to take the shine, or Roger was going to like complete the fight, and then Garp was going to be credited? It seems like the fight's over, and this is sufficient. Like this right here, let's say the battle is truly over, right? Zebek is truly defeated. Let's say Zebek doesn't stand back up, right? Let's say Zebek is dead. This is still sufficient for the world government and the Marines to push out a narrative that Garp is the hero of God Valley. This is sufficient because even though Roger's a pirate and he helped Garp, or he worked with Garp, Garp is still putting in work against Zebek. So by the world government and the Marines treating Garp as the hero of God Valley, they're only saying half the truth. They're only telling you half the truth. They're not telling you the full story. Except when, I guess, like they tell you a little bit more of the story when characters like Sengoku tell us back in 956, 957 that Garp worked with Roger. God bless Viswa. God bless Abigna. It wouldn't have mattered even if Harold came to help Rox. Well, I mean, I guess so, because the end result seems the same, that Zebek is defeated by the combination attack of Roger and Garp. So, I mean, if Harold is witnessing Zebek getting Domi reversied, and Harold's compelled to then fight against Zebek, then I guess it doesn't really matter because Zebek was defeated without the help of Harold. Is that what you're saying? God bless Jordan. Seeing how OP Emu is, Harold would have gotten cooked earlier by Emu. Harold would have gotten cooked? I mean, it is Emu. It is Emu. I have Emu top 1. I think Emu is the strongest character in One Piece, and Luffy would surpass the power of Emu once they have a true, real battle. Pretty much the pattern we see throughout One Piece. You know, Luffy always being weaker than that future or even current antagonist until Luffy finds a way to power up or do something new, or I don't know, grow to a critical stage during the fight with that antagonist. Harold absolutely could have made a difference here because Zebek wanted his help so bad. He could have been a key with the devil fruit in his giant's hand. Oh, so You're talking about more so pre-Domi Reversi. Am I understanding you correctly, Smokey? Your focus is more about pre-Domi Reversi Zebek. Pre-reversed Zebek. Zebek needed or wanted Harold's help at God Valley. So you're saying that Harold would have made a difference because before Zebek was reversied, him and Harold would have been working together. That's what you're saying? I mean, I don't disagree, but the way I interpreted this discussion so far is post-Domi Reversi. Post-Domi Reversi, it doesn't really seem that it would make a difference because, as you could see yourself, Zebek is ultimately defeated by Garp and Roger, so they don't really need Harold. So we got to be more clear. Are we talking about pre-Domi Reversi on God Valley, or are we talking about post-Domi Reversi on God Valley? If we're talking about pre-Reversi, I think, yeah, Harold would have made a difference on the God Valley incident. To what degree, I don't really know. I don't know if Harold and Zebek can take down Emu together. I'm not saying Harold is weak. Of course he's not weak. Harold's literally one of the strongest characters ever. But we're talking about Emu. Now, if we were to discuss post-Reversi Zebek, then, I mean, Garp and Roger took down Zebek without Harold, so I don't really see why Harold would make a difference there. I don't know. Maybe Zebek goes down quicker. I don't know. But pre-Domi Reversi, I can see where you would be coming from on that. If you're talking post, you're right. I think I'm talking pre. Yeah, I mean, chat, we can have that discussion. Do we think Harold on God Valley would make much of a difference pre-Domi Reversi Zebek? What do you think, chat? What do you think? Do you think that King Harold on God Valley pre-Domi Reversi Zebek would make much of a difference? What do you think, chat? Emu's top one unless it's shown he cheated against Domi or against Davy Jones and Joy Boy. You know what's interesting is like Emu you don't even have to make that false dichotomy. You don't even have to make that dichotomy, Jordan. Emu could be top one, but in the same breath, cheated against Davy Jones and Joy Boy. I want to know, like, if anyone disagrees with that, why? Why would that not be possible? Why would it, like, just because Emu, like, hypothetically, right? Just because Emu is top one doesn't mean he has to fight fair. I'm trying to think of other examples in One Piece where, like, a character was very powerful and they still played dirty. Okay, here's an example. Dressrosa. Doflamingo was obviously stronger than Kiros. Doflamingo was obviously stronger than King Riku. But yet, Doflamingo still used manipulation. So, like, my point is, like I could see where you're coming from, where you would say, like, Emu's top one unless he cheated to beat Joy Boy, because if he needs to cheat, then he's probably weaker than Joy Boy. Like, I understand the notion. I get the argument. But, I mean, hypothetically speaking, he could be stronger and still play dirty. Like, why does Emu need to... Like, if Emu was top one, why is he not allowed to play dirty? We're literally talking about the devil, right? Playing dirty doesn't bode well with power scalers and tier lists. Okay. Power scalers to the side. Emu is not bound by, like, this, like, confession, this, like, dogma that he has to fight fair. Can we all agree on that? Can we all agree? Like, can we all agree that Emu's not bound to fight fair? I literally can't think of a reason why Emu has to fight fair. If Emu truly is this evil, tyrannical figure leading celestial dragons, I don't see why he has to play fair. Why? Like, I literally can't think of a reason. So you could have this possibility where Emu is strongest, Emu is top 1, but in the same breath, like, I might be stronger than you, but why would I fight fair? Like, if I could take you out an easy way, why would I not take you out the easy way? There's something from The Art of War, right? Maybe someone in chat can post what I'm referring to, but there's something that Sun Tzu believed in and taught in Art of War, right? Where it's something like, if you can win the war without fighting, then do that. Can anyone pull up that like idea? It's in The Art of War. If you can win the battle, if you can win the war, if you can win the conflict without even fighting, then that is that's the better move. So applying this to Emu, he could be a character that's top 1. Emu stronger than Davy Jones. Emu is stronger than Joy Boy. But simultaneously, he wants to take the shortest path to victory. And if the shortest path to victory is fighting dirty, playing dirty, I don't see why Emu wouldn't take that. So, see, the whole reason I'm going on this whole rant, the whole reason I'm going on this whole tangent is because it's so easy for us as One Piece fans to slip into assumptions, and then we end up making wrong conclusions and wrong arguments and stuff like that. But Young Smokey with the $5, thank you so much, brother. God bless, man. Thank you, brother. Yeah, thank you, Young King. It had to do with Zebek's plan, the 2 devil fruits, and the giants helping, and how bad he wanted Harold. Okay, now I see what you're saying. So your argument is that if Harold accepted the proposal with Zebek, this whole idea of having the 2 fruits and working together, it would have made a change. It would have made an impact. Well, I mean, that's hard to say. That's hard to say. Deans, God bless you, bro. That's actually hard to say because, I've looked into this topic philosophically before. I've looked into this topic philosophically, where you could use like anything as an example. It doesn't have to be One Piece. You could use something as like from real life. Maybe not everything, right? But many things. If you have a situation that happens, right? Let's say we're looking, let's just use One Piece, right? Let's use One Piece as the example so I can illustrate the point in a way that you guys can understand. Okay. So the reality of the situation is that Harold did not work with Zebek. Like, that's the reality, right? That's what we have to face. There's nothing that you could do to undo that. No matter what you say, like, Harold didn't work with Zebek, at least at God Valley. Now, that is something of substance. There's substance to that because it is in the fabric of reality. Versus if we talked about in a hypothetical sense, like in a hypothetical sense, what would it be like, or what would have happened if Harold accepted the team up with Zebek? Like, philosophically speaking, we don't really have grounds to talk on that hypothetical because it's not substantive in reality. You know what I mean? So like it's more justified to look at the facts of reality, what actually happened, and go from there. But for sake of discussion, if we wanted to discuss the hypotheticals, despite all of the variables on that hypothetical, we could discuss it, hypothetically speaking. I mean, it would be hard, though. Like, first of all, I would want to know, like, what are those 2 devil fruits? That's one thing. The second thing, I want to know, like, how high is Emu's power level truly. I want to know if Emu saw not only Zebek and Roger there, but also Harold. Would Emu have done something differently? Would Emu have tried to dummy reversey Harold? Dark fruit is the perfect counter for Emu's body. One black hole is enough to keep them stuck there. On the other hand, Nika no Mi is the Domi reversey counter, in my opinion. What do you think, bruh? So what I'm trying to say is Zebek's plan would have worked if these two fruits joined hands. I mean, I understand the argumentation, but how can we say for certain that the dark fruit is the perfect counter to Emu's body if we don't truly know all of the properties of Emu's body? Amuni, God bless, bro. We don't know the true properties, the true characteristics, stuff like that for Emu's body. We don't even know the accidents. We don't even know if Emu's truly man or truly woman. Of course, I've argued that Emu's man. Some might argue that Emu has a body of a woman. We don't even know the properties of Emu's body. So, like, if you're willing to concede on that, it's kind of weird to say that, like, the dark fruit would be a counter to Emu's body. One more thing I would want to add is, like, we also would have to assume that the dark fruit is one of those two fruits. Now, I see that you're saying, like, you're saying if it was those two fruits that join hands, it would have worked. I see if there. I get what you're saying. I understand your point. But just so no one else is confused or has things misconstrued, we don't want people to think that, like, oh, it's confirmed Zebek was going after the dark fruit because, like, the yami, because, like, there's no confirmation of that. I suppose someone could maybe articulate a theory. Maybe it'll sound a little convincing or something like that. But see, like, there's just so many variables involved. There's just so many variables involved. Sometimes in One Piece, the options are limited. Sometimes in One Piece, the variables are limited. But wait a second, random YouTube user. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes things in One Piece generally or genuinely have many variables, and it's hard to look at a question mark and place your answer there while sufficiently answering all the variables. Because think about it. If we have a question mark and we put our answer there, if one of those variables goes wrong, then that answer is, like, it's in jeopardy, you know? Zebek is the most pirate in One Piece, my goat. Yeah, Zebek really is the epitome of a pirate. A very insane pirate for that. At that. Yeah, random. I've thought that from the jump. Lucas, God bless, bro. How you doing, man? How you doing, brother? God bless you, YouTube user. Zebek dropped the plans for his family, though. Emu was threatening God Valley. He was. Lubu, God bless, bro. Glad to see you, man. Welcome back. Elon, God bless. Just like destroys Zelusia. Yeah, Emu. I'm sure Emu has destroyed tons of islands at this point. Emu's going to be a major strategist using the art of war. Yeah, definitely. I think Emu is, like, if I had to guess, right? If I had to guess, I think Emu will fight dirty. He'll be extremely powerful. He'll be extremely technical. I don't see why Emu has to be bound to only one of those three or two of those three. Like, I've been asking Tiante, you're watching the stream, you're listening. I'm asking people, present to me a sufficient case as to why Emu has to fight clean. Like, I don't even know how someone would build that case. So why am I asking that question? The whole reason I'm pursuing that is because we can't necessarily say things like, oh, Emu had to play dirty to fight Joy Boy, or like, if Emu fought dirty against Joy Boy, then he's weaker. Like, you see, you if you go into these conversations with those preconceived notions, you end up slipping into something that could easily be wrong. So we need to, kind of cover all the bases, make sure that our logic is watertight and stuff like that. And that's exactly why Vegapunk only said the facts he was sure of in his speech, because his whole point would crumble if any of his statements are baseless. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because if you want to present to someone a good conclusion, whether it's an expression of your faith, or maybe you want to lead someone to the truth, you should be giving people something that's concrete. Because if you give someone weak arguments or weak beliefs or weak points, not only are you going to be jeopardizing your own faith, possibly even scandalizing yourself, but you would lead others astray. Does Roger beat Emu without Garp? When you say Emu, do you mean Domi Reversied Zebek? Is that what you mean? Good question. I mean, I would probably lean towards no, just because I think Garp is around the same level as Roger, which would mean that without Garp, Roger would need to be double what he is to do what happens in 1165. Do you get the logic? Let me see that one more time. We would be led to believe that Garp is around the power level of Roger. If you think Garp is stronger than Roger, then that makes the conversation even worse then. So let's just assume then Garp is around the same level of Roger. We would have to say that without Garp, Roger would need to be double what his power is to do what happened in 1165. The only way to deal with that is if you say or you argue that, well, Roger and Garp's tag team attack against Zebek was way stronger than it needed to be. But I don't know how good of an argument that's going to be. Let me actually pull up Discord so I can show you guys something, chat. We actually see here, right? From Worsten, Zebek's Conqueror's Haki is capable of negating enemy attacks. Zebek and Garp, Roger and Garp can barely harm Zebek. You see that? Roger and Garp can barely harm Zebek, as their Haki cannot bypass Zebek's. In the end, they unleash all their Haki into a single attack, knowing full well that if it fails, they will die. But here's the key thing. We assuming that the leakers are correct, Roger and Garp barely harm Zebek. You see that? Barely harm Zebek. So if Garp is around the same level of Roger, if not greater than Roger, if that's the case, and Garp wasn't there to help Roger, then actually I would say no, L. Roger doesn't beat Zebek Domi Reversied. Let me know, L, if you understand the argumentation there. If you feel that I have made a mistake in that argumentation, let me know. As well as everyone in chat. All of you guys watching the stream, make sure you drop a like on the stream, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell so you don't miss future streams. If you disagree with that argumentation, let's have a discussion. But I think it's pretty sound. Let me know what you think, chat. Eli, God bless, bro. That is a wild comment. Yo, Captain West, welcome back, man. It's been a minute. Hope God has been visiting you and protecting you, bro. Of course, I just wanted you to admit they needed to. L, you got me, bro. You got me. Hey, you got me. You got me. I'm guilty. Guilty as charged. Don't you think Domi reversing rocks is more powerful than normal rocks? Maybe that's why it took both Garp and Roger to beat him. Good question. I mean, Domi reversing rocks isn't gonna make rocks weaker, right? Could we agree on that at least, chat? Domi reversing rocks isn't making rocks weaker. Do we agree on that? Like, if anything, it keeps him at the same power level, at the least. Do we agree on that? Because I mean, I would be led to believe that Emu controlling Zebek, giving him wings and the fangs, this new, I don't know, design, for lack of a better word, I would be led to believe, and also what Dean just said, I'd be led to believe that Zebek's not going to get weaker from Domi Reversi. At the least, his power level remains the same. So I think we can establish that. Does he get stronger, though? I mean, my gut is telling me, yeah. My gut is saying, yes, Domi Reversi makes Zebek stronger. But I'm trying to think of how someone would probably see, chat, I'm too tired and I can't speak correctly. I'm trying to think of how someone would properly articulate that argument. TBH, I thought Roger would start getting his sickness at the end of God Valley from an emu curse or something. It feels weird. It isn't the case. Lots of sicknesses in One Piece remain unexplained. Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be presented now for that to be the case. Oda could present it in like a few chapters or something, and then Roger's like, oh, shoot, I think I caught something from Emu. Like, just because it's not stated right now doesn't mean it can't be stated later. Altair, God bless you, bro. I'm feeling good. I'm not sick, bro. I'm just a little tired, man. Just a little sleepy. God bless you, Altair. If Domi Reversi works like Majin, then he should be stronger. Majin? Are you talking about Dragon Ball? If it makes Elbaf Giant stronger, then it makes Zebek stronger. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, I don't disagree with that. The first half, Domi Reversi does make the Giant stronger, but I wonder, like, because of Zebek and his power level and who he is and stuff like that, is it not the same? I don't know. I would say my gut would tell me that Domi Reversi makes Zebek stronger, but I can't figure out how to make a strong proof of that. Rox is still my top one after Joy Boy and Emu. So are you saying Rox is your top three? I mean, I'm not mad at that. I think Rox is clearly one of the strongest characters. I don't know, though. I might have to put Harold up there with Rox. I'm glad you are no longer Majin evil. If Loki beat Domi Reversing Herald, does it make him the strongest character till now? I don't know if we can necessarily say beat Domi Reversing Herald. Because, like, remember, like, when Loki walks in the castle, all of those knights are, like, stabbing Herald. It might have been a situation similar to Whitebeard where, like, you know, Squard stabbed Whitebeard. I think he stabbed him in the heart. Is that what happened? It could be something like that where, like, by the time Loki even fought him, he was, like, nerfed. It Shakes beat Loki. But wasn't that in the context of Elbaf Warrior Giants teaming up? Like, I don't think the context was like a 1v1. I don't think that was the context. Emu trembled when it felt Joy Boy's hockey, so most probably Joy Boy more powerful than Emu. Well, you know what's interesting is, like, Luffy had a reaction to Kizaru's hockey. Would we say that Kizaru's over Luffy? I wonder how many people would subscribe to that. I feel like most people would not subscribe to that. And Luffy, remember that at the end of the one chapter in Egghead? Luffy sensed the hockey or whatever. That was Kizaru's hockey, wasn't it? I think, like, at best, though, Abigna, I think, like, Emu trembling. I don't know if would trembling be a fair description. Let me use reaction just because I feel like that's a bit more fair. I think Emu's reaction to Joy Boy's hockey could more so be a thing of like, hey, I took you out. Why are you coming back? Oh, shoot, you're coming back. Because remember, Abigna, there's like this prophecy that Joy Boy is coming back, and now this prophecy of Davy Jones coming back. You gotta look at this through the lens of Emu's mind. Emu believes that Joy Boy and Davy Jones are coming back. So if Emu is recognizing Joy Boy's hockey and stuff like that, he's thinking like, oh, shoot, that reminds me of my greatest foe. Is he coming back? Oh, no. I don't want to have to deal with him again. Oh, no, I heard about the prophecy that he's going to come back. He's going to come back and take me down. I got to eradicate the D-Clan so that he can't come back. I need to eradicate the Davy clan so Davy Jones cannot come back. So when you look at it from like that angle, I think like that protects the idea that Emu is top one, while simultaneously answering why he would tremble to Joy Boy's hockey. Do you remember what chapter that was so I could take a look at it again? Why would Emu be worried if he already beat it once? Because of the prophecy. It's definitely prophesied that Joy Boy and Davy Jones are going to come back. We talked all about the Davy Jones part in the previous streams. If you didn't hear it, if you weren't there, go to my previous streams when this stream's over and then just listen at 2x speed. We talk all about it, right? I show the full argumentation. So with specifically specifically pertaining to Joy Boy, it seems to be that like there's this prophecy that Joy Boy is going to come back and like reclaim what's his. Joy Boy is going to come back and put Emu in his place. You know, like Joy Boy is going to right what's wrong. I think that's why Emu is terrified of the return of Davy Jones and Joy Boy. He's not like, I don't think Emu is terrified of the return of Davy Jones and Joy Boy is so, that in itself. I think it's because there's implications of that. And if we believe that Luffy is going to take down Emu and stuff like that, if we believe that Joy Boy is going to prevail and essentially come back and take down Emu for revenge, then wouldn't it make sense that this was prophesied that Joy Boy is going to come back and take down Emu. Joy Boy is going to come back and dismantle what we see in Israel. So, like, that would be my argumentation. Emu's not afraid of Joy Boy coming back because Joy Boy's coming back. It's Emu's afraid of Joy Boy coming back because of what's going to happen with Joy Boy coming back. Plus, you mix into that, like, Emu could be stronger than Joy Boy and still think like, oh, shoot, Joy Boy's hockey. Oh, that dude was actually very strong. I had to fight Joy Boy tooth and nail. And not only did I have to fight him tooth and nail and barely win, not only that, but there's a prophecy he's going to come back and beat me. See, so under that kind of thinking, you justify Emu being top 1 alive right now, right? Or even all time, Emu being top 1, while simultaneously, why is he terrified of Joy Boy's hockey? They'll undo everything Emu built up. Yeah, I think it has to do with prophecy. 1123. All right, thanks, bro. I don't think I could put the chapter on the screen because Shoeish is gay. Let me see. I think it was towards the end of the chapter, wasn't it? The pages are loading so slow. Wait, 1123. Isn't this a bit early? Hold on, let me see. Where is Emu afraid of it? Oh, no, I don't think this is too early. Man, I pulled up 1123. The pages are loading so slow. Wait, I actually don't see it in 1123. Did I scroll past it? Wait, it looks like there's one page not loading. I don't see it in 1123. Mihawk upscale this chapter is insane, says Zoro. Kind of funny, too, coming from Mihawk himself, the former God Knight and the only descendant alive of the Nerona family. Wait, what do you mean? Joy Boy is his greatest op who can usurp his throne and the plans for world domination. Pretty sure he's justified to be tweaking. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you can use that argument and pretty much say that Emu is top 1 and that you're not contradicting anything. Marijoa was promised to the Celestial Dragons 3,000 years ago. Check the Dalmud. Actually, the Celestial Dragons are our greatest ally because they're pushing mass migration into Dressrosa. It's 1122. All right, thanks, bro. Let me see. I don't even know if looking at this panel is going to really impact the conversation, but whatever, I'll check. Okay, so the hockey rings out. Emu's actually screaming. Ah, Joy Boy. I guess there is some shaking from Emu, but yeah, I mean, I would still hold to that position that I just expressed. Aim with the 2. Thank you so much, brother. God bless you, King. Love your channel, but your Kobe take is kind of shocking. Kuma mastered his double fruit in an hour at 4 years old. Whoa. I think mastered might be too strong of a word, brother. Like, yeah, Kuma poofed people away. He poofed Blackbeard and Eris, but do we want to say mastered? That might be a little too far there, don't you think? Would we say that Kuma at God Valley poofing Eris and Blackbeard is mastering the fruit? Or am I forgetting something? Did he do something else on God Valley with the fruit? Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm forgetting something. I thought like all Kuma did on God Valley was poof like 2 people away. Am I forgetting something? Because if that's all he did, I wouldn't say that that's mastering. Which like you would have to say like, because I understand the argument you're talking about, the Kobe thing, where I say Kobe, even if Kobe got a fruit right now, he wouldn't have enough time to master it and work with Luffy to take down Blackbeard. I remember the whole conversation. So like, if I don't know, AIM, if you concede on this and you say like, okay, fine, Kuma didn't really master it, then you can't really use the Kuma example, bro. You can't really use the Kuma example for Kobe and Law, or Kobe and Luffy. But God bless you, AIM. Thank you, bro. I've always defended Kobe. I think Kobe is severely underrated, both as a character and as a fighter. I think Kobe's a G, and I think he's gonna get Sengoku's Devil Fruit. But like, if I put my I don't know, interests, my likes, I don't know how else to say it. If I put that to the side and look at these things exactly for what it is, I don't know if I'm comfortable saying that Luffy will work with Kobe to take down Blackbeard. Simply because Blackbeard's power and Kobe's lack thereof. Not saying Kobe's weak, but I'm not saying he's strong enough to work with Luffy to take down Blackbeard either. L with the 5 gifted. Thank you so much, Young King.
This guy brought a nuke into the building.
If you guys received a gifted membership from the one and only L, I better see some thank yous in the chat, because he dropped his hard-earned money. He's going above and beyond to support you guys, to support me as a great brother, as a great champion. Thank you so much, L, bro. God bless you, man. I'm always pumped and thrilled to see you in the chat, because you're always dropping good memes. You're always pushing the agendas. And L, you could cook some good theories, some good takes every once in a while. I won't lie. Every once in a while, L will cook in the chat. You guys have seen this many times. Thank you so much, L. God bless. Who got a membership? Because I actually can't see. With the chat that I'm using, it actually doesn't show me who got the membership. Who got the memberships? Who got the memberships? Someone tell me. Someone tell me. Kuma had immediate mastery over his fruit within minutes of eating, poofed away from Big Mom and Saturn, and saved 500 souls at God Valley. Kuma the GOAT. I'm not trying to slander Kuma. I absolutely love Kuma. In fact, he's one of my favorite characters. But can we say mastery? Like, Kuma's poofing people away. That seems to be like the standard of the fruit. Is it not? Zebek definitely loved Harold more than Harold loved Zebek. Zebek is a real one. So true, King. I agree. I think Harold did not appreciate Zebek as much as Zebek appreciated Harold. I think Zebek was the better friend. And sure, maybe Zebek was a little crazy. Zebek had some wild dreams and goals, but still. Twitch, Elliot, Raja, I'm Coach, and D. Yo, Ferasti, God bless you. Thank you so much, bro. By the way, how did Eva and Ginny escape when Kuma already teleported himself without them? Maybe Dragon saved them? Yeah, maybe they did. Wait, didn't Ivankov and Ginny show up on Sorbet to recruit Kuma? I guess it would work. That would make sense. It would work then that, as you say, Dragon leaves God Valley with Ivankov and Ginny. He defects from the Marines, unlike his dad, Garp. They form a little alliance, the Freedom Fighters. Years pass, and then he teams up with actually no, Dragon wouldn't leave with Ginny, because wasn't Ginny was with Kuma on Sorbet. Huh. Random YouTube user, you raise a good point. I don't think that's something Oda's going to overlook. I think that's actually going to be something that Oda addresses, and I think it might be interesting. But that's a good question. Cuz didn't Ivankov show up on Sorbet to recruit Ginny and Kuma? Like, wasn't Ginny and Kuma, weren't they at Sorbet together the whole time? If Kuma mastered his fruit, then that means Sabo mastered his fruit right away too. Nah, it's just base abilities. Elliot, God bless, bro. One-sided friendships don't last. Loki would be a better friend to Luffy, I bet. Yeah, I mean, that is true. One-sided friendships don't really work. It's not really a friendship. Mario, God bless, man. How you been, bro? How you doing, man? It is the standard. The remove pain, create memories, etc. is the special. Yeah, that's kind of like, that's like the impression I was under as well. But this is not to take away from Kuma. Obviously, Kuma is like one of the greatest characters ever. I don't know if I'm convinced enough to believe that his abilities on God Valley were expressions of mastery. Which, by the way, don't we think we would be taking it a little too far? Like, Kuma mastered the fruit in 4 hours. Like, how easy is this fruit to master then? Evil's one-sided love worked, though? Bro, I don't know what you're talking about. There must be another Evil in chat. Aim with the $2. God bless you, Young King. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, brother. I want to start by saying that your video on Kobe getting the Buddha fruit is dope. I watched it a couple times. Something to think about. Oda set up Luffy and Kobe fighting back in Water 7 and again after Egghead, so he'll at least be near Luffy level. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But the next question, Aim, or maybe the better question is, when does that happen? I don't even think people necessarily have a problem with saying that Kobe will reach Luffy's level. But like the more important question is when. Like, if are we saying like right now? Are we saying in the next chapter? Are we saying in Egghead or in Elbaf? Are we saying next arc? Are we saying in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years? You know what I mean? When I look at Luffy's level, Luffy's astronomically high. I would say Luffy is at least Yonko level. Whatever that's supposed to mean. Am I comfortable saying that Kobe is Yonko level? Probably not. But can Luffy get to Yonko level? Sure. So, you see what I'm getting at, Aim? I think Luffy versus Blackbeard is on the horizon, bro. Luffy has 3 road poneglyphs. One more poneglyph and Luffy sailing the Laugh Tale. Let's not forget this, guys. One more road poneglyph and Luffy will go to Laugh Tale. So Luffy versus Blackbeard must be on the horizon. It must be extremely close. Are we comfortable saying that Kobe is near Yonko level right now? I might be pushing it a little too far. But Aim, God bless you, brother. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you for the thoughts and the dono, bro. Blackbeard final villain. I'm still dying on this hill. All right, bro. You go ahead. You die on that hill. I'm living on my hill. You could die on your hill. I'll live on my hill. Speaking about hills, how about you stop building a mountain out of a molehill or an anthill? Stop building a mountain out of a Anthill. Do you think the prophecy was a curse put on Emu by someone? Great question. That's actually a very interesting question, because some people could perceive a prophecy as a gift, or some people can perceive it as a curse. It's actually that actually might be like the main thing. Like that might be one of the more main themes in, you know, the conclusion of One Piece, or like the lore behind Joy Boy, where it's like, is this promised moment, is it a curse or is it a prophecy? And maybe Oda kind of leaves it up to the reader, where it's like, if you were Jewish, right, it would be a curse. But if you were a member of the D clan, or if you were just a sane person, you would say like, no, this is a prophecy. This is righteous judgment. The Messiah coming back, this is righteous judgment. But to them who deny the Messiah, they would perceive it as some kind of curse when it happens. Some kind of like, they would actually try to classify it as something evil and demonic. Aim with the $2 dono. Thank you, Young King. God bless you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you. Aim says, I believe the Elbaf time theory will turn out to be true. And after we leave Elbaf, more time will have passed and Kobe will be stronger. Well, yeah. I mean, I also like that theory. I think that's a really cool theory. But isn't that focusing a little too much on Kobe? Like, I guess that could be true without the focus on Kobe. Sure, I'll grant that. Maybe we'd have to draw the line somewhere. But, like, are you telling me Luffy goes from, like, having no chance against Blackbeard on Amazon Lily and Hachinosu to then, like, a month later being ready to go against Luffy? And I'm not trying to straw man your argument, Aim. My aim, no pun intended, is not meant to straw man you. I don't want to straw man the argument, okay? So please don't take it that way. Yeah. I mean, how much time is really going to pass with the Straw Hats on Egghead? I keep saying Egghead. I've been doing this for months. How much time is going to pass with the Straw Hats on Elbaf? Months? I don't know. That might be pushing it. Years is insane. I don't think Aim is saying years. Years would be nuts. Like, I don't think like the Straw Hats are gonna walk on Elbaf or walk off Elbaf and like it's 5 years later. Like, that might be pushing it way too far. It'll probably be like a month or something at most. At most, maybe like a month. But even then, 1 month ago, like if we take that idea, right? 1 month before that, Luffy or Kobe had no chance against Blackbeard on Hachinosu and Amazon Lily. Egghead with Speak, I don't blame you. Egghead is a phenomenal arc. I really need to binge read Egghead. I think everyone should binge read Egghead. Come on now, y'all doing a bit too much for Kobe. Yeah, might be pushing it. Might be a little too much. They already classified it explicitly as a cancer along with other religion prophecies. Wait, what are you referring to? Smokey, I read it in your accent. The dig it, Bobby. Yo, we love Smokey for his accent, man. We love young Smokey in this channel. We love Smokey. We love L. We love Abigna. We love Tiante. We love Viswa, Jin Marks, Jordan, Johan, Vincent. I mean, there's just so many people. Depends on the time dilation. Could be months, definitely not years. Yeah, I think years might be pushing it to an insane level. Months, I don't know. Because how long has it been on Elbaf? Not even one day. So, like, how much slower is Elbaf? 1,000 times slower? You get my point? So Shiki declared that the Rocks Pirates are finished right during the spoilers. My bow. Yeah, I think the Rocks Pirates are kind of done. Zebek was fighting these guys last chapter. Historia, God bless, bro. Welcome back, man. How have you been? Many times I don't appear here. A big hug to everyone. The best channel about One Piece, USA. To me, it is. Ha 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 ha. Yo, God bless you, Historia. God bless, bro. ¿Cómo estás, mi amigo? You've been watching any new TV series, bros? I'm thinking about rewatching The Wire and The Sopranos, bro. The Sopranos is wild. I never got into The Wire. I heard that The Wire is one of the greatest series of all time, next to Breaking Bad, Sopranos, you know, all those other shows. I never got into The Wire. I haven't been watching any TV shows. The only things I've been watching is like Christian debates and conspiracy theory documentaries. I got back on it. I'm back on the conspiracy theory documentary stuff. But even then, that's not like the majority of my free time. The majority of my free time right now is dedicated to research in Christian history and the councils. That's what I've been putting most of my free time on. It's been a lot of reading, bro. It's been a lot. But I enjoy it. It makes me happy. I actually enjoy reading through the councils and all of the controversies and like who's justified, who's wrong, who has the Orthodox faith, who has the true church. I really, really, really like reading that stuff. It's definitely not like reading One Piece, but like in a way, it fulfills me like reading One Piece, but in a different way. So now after God Valley is almost over, who do you think is currently attacking Marijoa, Dragon or Blackbeard? Well, you know what's funny is when we first got that chapter, most people were arguing that it was obviously Dragon. But that is an assumption. Secondly, you could make an argument. Thank you, guys. You could back then make an argument that it's Blackbeard attacking Marijoa. Now, what makes this conversation more interesting is that Zebek is getting Domi reversied on God Valley with the Celestials launching a native hunting game on God Valley, the home of Zebek. So there's people like Dawn of Ascension that have asked, what if right now Marijoa is on fire? Maybe King J brought this up as well. I'm not sure. People have brought up, what if right now there's a hunting game? Marijoa is being burnt down as revenge by Blackbeard. You see how easy people can go from, oh, it's so obvious that option A is the answer, to then feeding and pushing for option B? And I'm not saying that King J and Dawn of Ascension did that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm sure there's people out there that did that, though. I'm almost certain people have done that. But to answer your question, who do I think it is? I think both make sense. I think whichever one it is will fail. I don't think that they are going to successfully dethrone Emu. I think Luffy will dethrone Emu. So if it's Blackbeard, something will happen and Emu will keep the throne. If it's Dragon, something will happen and Emu will keep the throne. Did you see all the new billionaires embracing Christianity in order to coerce Christians to do anti-Christian stuff? Yeah, bro. That's, you know how long that's been happening? Go read on Vatican II. That's been happening for a long time. It's just grifting. It's literally grifting. And people fall for it. That's the sad part. People fall for it. Now, like, if people are going to show and say and do good things about what you believe in, like your faith, then all right, let's commend them for that. But if they're also doing bad things or they have some evil ulterior motive, then they need to be called out for that. We should commend people for the good they do and expose them for the bad they do. Or like, I mean, like, best case scenario, if someone's doing something bad, you talk to them in private. You don't need to publicly scandalize everybody. Like, if you have an issue with someone, you should try to reach out to them in private. But if that doesn't work, then I don't know, maybe go public with it. But you really got to be careful. Like, us as a society, we shouldn't like resort to making everything public. But like, if it's someone like, let's say like it's Bill Gates, right? Bro, nobody here is going to talk to Bill Gates publicly or privately. I'm fine. I'm very happy that everyone is okay too. God bless you, bro. Wait, what did I do? Wait, what did you do? It would be crazy if plot twist Cross Guild is raiding Marijoa. Yeah. It's not Blackbeard. It's not Dragon. It's actually Cross Guild. No, it's actually Law. It's actually Law, the young goat. But yeah, not going to lie, Blackbeard attacking Marijoa would defy his whole hostage plan. So Dragon is more possible in second thought. Why would it defy the hostage plan? Like, Blackbeard could have his crewmates like holding Garp hostage on Hachinosu while Blackbeard himself goes to Marijoa, or vice versa. Because notice that like for some time on Elbaf, the Holy Knights were preoccupied. So, like, I don't know, someone could have like raided and caused a big problem on Marijoa without it being the whole force jeopardizing the hostage known as Garp. No, think about Sabo. It was Sabo. Who was it? Sabo, Koala, and the Troon. What's the Troon's name in Revolutionary Army? I'm sorry, that's mean. What's that guy girl from the Revolutionary Army? Is it? I don't know if he's a guy or a girl. Morley. Okay, so notice how when Marijoa was like low-key becoming a mess, right, at the Reverie, Emu was spotted by Sabo and all that. Like, that was only like, what, 3 or 4 people? And look at those 3 or 4 people. So if Blackbeard sent like Aokiji, Shiryu, Augur, and let's say San Juan Wolf, if he sent those 4 to Marijoa, they could probably light it on fire. Bro, that's you. Bro forgot his name. You're not funny. You're not funny. You're not funny. You're not funny. Why are you guys laughing? I was just about to say that, L. Okay, you're sleeping outside tonight. You're sleeping outside. You're sleeping in the doghouse. Wasn't the hostage king plan's whole point to evade a direct confrontation with Marijoa and getting there at ease? I don't think it was ever addressed what the plan with Garp is specifically. Yo, Doghouse, come on, man. Proceed to evil getting whacked by a pillow on screen. Okay, Abig, now you're only half right on that. Girls stink and boys rule. Girls have cooties. Why else would bro want to be a king then? I'm trying to think, like, how does that conflict with, like, lighting Marijoa on fire? Like, Blackbeard could cause a war and, like, cause this huge chaos at Marijoa, and that's his way of telling the world government, like, yo, you're going to give me what I want. Like, it's not even the case that, like, Blackbeard has to cause, like, chaos at Marijoa because he knows Emu and he's trying to dethrone Emu. Like, that could be the case, but that doesn't have to be the case. Doing it to blame the fishmen. Yo, Emu's going to blame the giants on the slavery of fishmen. But yet, all the fishmen were taken from Fishman Island on celestial dragon ships. I'm sorry, that requires some ball knowledge. Some people here might not have the ball knowledge required. If you guys have been watching the channel for some time, you probably have acquired that elite level ball knowledge. Come on, you guys know about how the celestial dragons kidnapped and took fishmen from Fishman Island on celestial dragon ships. And then they blamed the giants. And less than 1% of giants owned fishmen as slaves, but they get blamed for it. But 42% of celestial dragons had slaves and no one says anything. Emu over Joy Boy. Opium evil glimpses. Him being a king equals easy access to Marijoa, so no point in wasting direct effort and forces to attack Marijoa. I mean, it could be an effort of both sides. It could be like, yo, I am going to use Garp and I'm going to cause a war. So you're going to make me king, right? Like, it doesn't have to be only one option. And I mean, it doesn't even have to be from that angle to begin with, right? Burnt his own city and blamed the Christians. Nerona. Yeah, you know what's crazy is King Nero, right? Who is really just a wannabe king. Nero, right? When he blamed the Christians for lighting the city on fire and stuff like that, right? You know, he wanted to create something called the Neronian dynasty. Let me find that for you. Let me show you. When King Nero, right? Not even king, right? Nero, right? When he burnt down the city and blamed Christians and then they got slaughtered, right? He did that because he wanted to create the Neronian dynasty. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I know how to find it, definitely. Was Nero Jewish? Trying to remember. Was Nero actually a Jew? For those unaware, there's a story in the Talmud. Where to go? For those unaware, there's a story in the Talmud where Nero converts to Judaism. In reality, no, he very much did not. Oh, are you calling the Talmud a lie? Ooh, you're antiseptic. Hold on, chat. There's a webpage. Where is it, bro? I think the webpage was like blue or something. Let me see if I can find it. I remember on the webpage it explains how Nero wanted to make the Neronian dynasty. I think it was called Neronian dynasty. But it sounds very familiar to Nerona. I don't remember what the website is, man. I don't think it was on Wikipedia. Neronian. Yeah, man. I don't remember where I read it. I don't remember where I saw it, but what a wild thing to first see when I hop on. Bro, I was trying to find where there's like this historical text that he wanted to start the Neronian dynasty, which it just makes me think of the Nerona family in One Piece. But I can't find it. Shout out to JR Ryder with the 5. Thank you, brother. God bless you, King. When do you think Blackbeard will cash in on Katarina's ability to turn to Saturn? Maybe Katarina is destroying Marijoa and Blackbeard helps to gain favor? I mean, who would grant him the power that he desires? It would ultimately come down to the Celestial Dragons, which more precisely would come from the Gorosei. But wouldn't the Gorosei see through that? Like, aren't the Gorosei aware? Aren't they aware that Saturn was killed? Saturn was erased? Because if the Gorosei are aware that Saturn was erased, and like they see this so-called Saturn destroying everything, wouldn't they think like, how could that be? Maybe that's exactly why. Actually, maybe they think like Saturn somehow didn't die and he came back and now he's getting revenge and destroying everything. Maybe. But then again, like the other part of me is like, no, they would see through that. Another option, JR Writer, people were talking about this like months ago. Maybe Katarina Devon would be able to use abyss portals, abyss pentagrams, because of her transformation into Saturn. Because notice in the Elbaf Arc, what did they say about the abyss pentagram? They said that you need the mark, right, to travel through the abyss pentagram. So it could be the case that Katarina Devon transforming into Saturn through abilities that's probably better than Bon Clay's, that she will have the mark, thus allowing her to go through the abyss pentagrams. Maybe then Blackbeard and the crew abuse the abyss pentagrams from like a technical standpoint, from like the standpoint of mechanics. TCG, God bless, bro. Does that answer your question, JR Writer? I think it could go either way, but there might be an issue with the Gorosei seeing right through this manipulation by Blackbeard. They would probably already know that Saturn was killed off. All right, chat. Very sleepy. We've been on for an hour 40. I think we're going to call it here. God bless you guys. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are amazing. You guys are peak. You guys are beautiful people. I wish everyone here a beautiful morning, day, or night, wherever you guys are. I wish that peace is with you. I wish that you guys stay in good spirits. I pray that you guys don't get angry. You guys don't get disheartened, depressed, sick, or sad. I pray you guys are happy and strengthened and brave and courageous and ready for whatever life has to offer. I believe in you guys. I hope you guys succeed in your endeavors. I will catch you guys in the next stream, which will be 1165 long summary spoilers. I'm excited. Hopefully there's more to discuss. I feel like with the short summary spoilers this time around, it's just too much action. And then like 2 or 3 of these statements was just kind of like having something we agreed upon universally confirmed. So not too much to add, you know, with Emu or Zebek being defeated, Rock's crew ending, Big Mom saying that Kaido is in debt to her for the fruit. Like, we kind of already figured as much, but I'm excited. Hope this chapter is great. Hope the long summary adds a lot more points of contention, points of discussion. Hope the chapter gets us hype. But with that being said, guys, take care, everybody. Love you guys greatly. Build your relationship with God. Keep researching, keep learning, keep growing. Keep challenging your own views. Steal a man, your opponent. Always try to learn and see things from different angles and different point of views. Always be open to being wrong. You guys will succeed and you guys will grow. God bless everybody. Peace.
If the world hates you, just remember that it has hated me first. If you belong to the world, then the world would love you as its own. But I chose you from this world, and you do not belong to it. That is why the world hates you. Whoever hates me, hates my Father also. They would not have been guilty of sin if I had not done among them the things that no one else ever did. As it is, they have seen what I did, and they hate both me and my Father. They hated me for no reason at all.